I'm going to turn the phone off so it doesn't make any noises.
Good morning, everyone. Today, inshallah, we'll be discussing the worksheet that we had yesterday. And today, I'm joined with Mr. Anthony.
Good morning, class. So today we're going to be discussing the science essay by Barbara Kingsolver. We're going to continue, and we're going to be going over some questions together and basically having a discussion about the questions that we've provided for you. So, as you can see, the worksheet here called out, read the following excerpt, then answer the questions. Our friends from other climes couldn't quite make out what the fuss was about. Many people aren't aware that the desert blooms at all, even in a normal year, and few would guess how much effort we devote waiting and prognosticating. Is this something like Punks?
Yeah, it's the name of a village in America, Punxsutawney. Yeah,
Punxsutawney, Phil, on Groundhog Day.
Yeah, did you know that Groundhog Day, Anthony, the Groundhog Day is like a traditional day in America where people get groundhog, and he makes some kind of a draw. All right, if he slips a certain piece of paper, this certain piece of paper said that, okay, winter will be short and spring is gonna come early this year.
Okay.
And if he draws the other slip, that means winter is gonna be longer. And of course, if spring comes early, so that means the harvest is gonna be better. It's a kind of tradition in a certain village in America. I showed the lads a video about it yesterday on YouTube. Okay, yeah, all right.
So, asked a friend from the East.
Yeah.
Something like that. Or the fall color in New England.
Mm-hmm.
All winter, the experts take measurements and make forecasts. This year, they predicted gold, but it's already gone platinum.
Yeah, so it's more than they had already expected, prognosticated. Yeah, so like it adds to the sense of fascination she feels. It adds to the sense of rarity she's giving to us, all right? So, yeah, in a spot
where you would expect 100 flowers, we've got 1,000. More kinds than anybody alive has ever seen at once.
So again, more kinds. We discussed all this yesterday, but it's a quick review. So more kinds than anybody alive has ever seen at once. So what does this phrase or this sentence mean, Anthony? When she says that it's more than anybody alive has ever seen at once. So what does it mean to you?
She's making a point that no one else has ever seen. It's a very rare, something that happened is really rare because no one else has seen it.
Yeah, so it's a once in a lifetime occasion here. But these are annual flowers. So here again, she goes on with the conversation between this friend. Did you know, Anthony, that we don't know exactly whether this friend or this conversation really happened or she just made it up for the sake of conversation here or for the sake of argument. She want to make this text more accessible, easier for us, more engaging for us. You see what I mean? So, yeah, and her answer was?
Right.
Yeah.
Well then, our non-biologist friend struggled to frame her question. If they weren't there last year, and this year they are, then who planted them?
Yeah. So everybody here was like, okay, we don't. There is something which they cannot explain. You see, something which is more of a miracle. Yeah, like she is gonna say now. All right.
One of us blurted, God planted them.
And for a scientific person, if he gives this explanation, would this be acceptable, Anthony? Well, because normally in science, we expect there is a reason for everything.
Right? Reason for everything. And in this case,
when you say God planted them, so that means you don't know. Only God knows.
Yes.
how this happened. Yeah. All right.
We glanced at each other nervously.
Why? Why were they nervous? They nervous and looked at each other. We here, the scientist and her colleagues, you see? So we scientists glanced at each other nervously because we are not so expected to give this kind of answer. We are supposed to give a scientific reason. All right? Yeah.
A picturesque response indeed.
Yeah. This is kind of
Landscape. It's like a beautiful response.
but she's talking about the response here.
Okay.
This response, God planted them. So here, maybe she's being ironic.
Yeah,
She's being sarcastic.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
A little bit of a sense of humor here. Yeah. So
from scientifically trained types like ourselves.
Yeah. So
yet it seemed more compelling than any pedestrian lecture on life cycles and latency periods.
Mm-hmm.
Where had they all come from?
Mm-hmm.
Talking about the seeds?
Yeah, the plants, the rare plants, or the plants that they have seen for the first time. Remember, these are plants that nobody alive has ever seen them. You see what I mean? Yeah.
Had these seeds just been lying around in the dirt for decades? And how was it that, at the behest of some higher power,
what do you think this higher power, what do you think she's alluding to here? She's alluding to?
God.
Yeah, this is the higher power. Yeah.
Then the calendar. At all once there came a crowd.
Mm-hmm.
The answers to these questions tell a tale as complex as Beethoven symphony.
Now, this is the answer to this question is so complicated. Any idea why, Anthony? So, because actually the planting and the flowering is a very complicated process because it's connected with so many elements like the climate, even the amount of rain affected. Even the wind can affect how plants grow. So it's not only the climate and the weather and the temperature, it's also the amount of rain. It's also like the amount of water they receive and everything, right? So it's a complex process here. Like what? She's comparing it as, she's using a simile here. Beethoven symphony. In what way? Before
a concert. You could look at a lot of sheet music and try to prepare yourself mentally for the piece it inscribed. But you'd still be knocked out when you heard it performed.
Yeah, I wonder what does knocked out here mean? And this a phrase that's used even in literature or even in a scientific essay. So if I say, okay, yesterday the match was a knockout, or I was knocked out by his performance.
It's like shocked. Or
yeah, they were surprised. Yeah,
it's an idiom.
Yeah, it's an idiom. Yeah, it's borrowed. Of course, it's borrowed from boxing.
Knocked out. Yes.
Yeah, because normally a knockout is when you punch a person and you
blow.
You blow him. Yeah. Okay, so when you heard it performed.
Yeah. With wildflowers as in a concert, the magic is in the timing.
Mm-hmm.
The subtle combinations, and most important, the extent of the preparations.
Yeah. So if we can look together at the first question here, Anthony, the question says, writers may vary the kind of language they use to create a specific tone. So we're talking about tone. Do you remember, Anthony? Tone is the author's attitude towards a topic. You see, we discussed this before, boys, right? Yeah, I bet everybody is saying yes now. So in this passage, Kingsolver uses dialogue, the conversation that she has maybe made up, or actually, we don't know whether it is a made up conversation or she actually has been involved in this conversation with a friend. Yeah, within a scientific essay. How does Kingsolver's use of dialogue advances her purpose and affects the reader? How do you think, Anthony?
I think the use of common dialogue
Mhm.
in science helps everyday people, maybe.
Yeah, like me.
Helps.
Like for example, I'm a person who don't have enough information about botany, for example. So if I'm reading this dry scientific piece, how would I feel in a few minutes? It was
Boring.
Yeah, it's gonna be too hard for me and too challenging. You see? So maybe she's trying to make the tone here more engaging and more accessible for everyone, for a wider audience.
I think
Right?
she relates it to, I mean, we heard Groundhog Day,
Yeah,
Beethoven Sympathy,
yeah,
Knocked Out. She uses terms that maybe we can understand.
yeah, and we can relate to. Like she also uses like a comparison from the music, from the music industry, when she said we expected gold, but instead we have platinum. Of course, gold is valuable and precious, but platinum, is even more valuable. Okay, so can you read the answer for us, Anthony?
Even though the essay's topic is a scientific one, the use of dialogue makes the passage accessible to the reader.
And by the word accessible, what do you mean, Anthony?
Accessible means like
Easy to
easy,
read,
understandable,
easy
yeah.
to understand. Very good. Yeah. In other words,
Casual conversational language creates an engaging tone.
yeah, that's absolutely right. Okay, let's move on to the second question. And of course, we're going to give you guys a couple of seconds to think about the answer, because it's in a way or another connected to the previous question. Yeah.
In the above excerpt, the tone shifts from scientific and informative into a casual dialogue
Yeah.
with a friend.
Yeah.
She uses that phrase, "What the fuss is about." What message do
Do you think this phrase, Anthony, is a scientific phrase to use?
No, fuss.
What the fuss is about?
What the fuss is about.
So what's all the commotion?
Yeah, what's the
Yeah, well, yeah, what's happening? Why are you fussing? Yeah, what's so surprising about all this? Yeah, so
what message do you think the author wants to convey from this phrase?
Yeah,
what the fuss is about. You wouldn't usually say that in a scientific way.
Yeah, but if I ask you this question, or if my reaction is like, Anthony, what the fuss is all about?
Yeah.
Why? Why would I say that?
Yeah. What's everyone making a big deal?
Yeah, very good. Because I don't understand what's going on. You see what I mean? So I don't understand the excitement that you're feeling. For example, you said you like baseball or rugby?
Rugby, yes.
Rugby, yeah, right. But I don't know what rugby is. So if there's a rugby match today, so how are you going to feel?
Excited.
And I don't understand anything. I don't know anything about rugby. How am I going to feel? I'm going to feel like, what? I don't know. Why are you making so big deal out of this? It's only a rugby match. You see what I mean? So here,
this phrase shows that the author assumes that most readers would not be from Southern Arizona.
Yeah.
And might not understand the excitement.
Yeah, but luckily enough, Anthony, we can understand because we are from the similar climate. Here, we are in a desert area. And when it rains here, you can't believe how much happy everyone is.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? Some people even go to the middle of the desert to enjoy
the rain.
Yeah. Okay.
I assume that she is trying to engage the readers and help them relate to the topic.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Let's move on to the next question here. Sorry, lads. Okay, so to the next question here.
Kingsolver explains that people from other climate areas don't understand why everyone is excited about the desert blooming. Why do you think people from other climes might be puzzled by the excitement?
We just said it.
Yeah, we just
said it because, yeah, if I'm a person who's where it rains every day, would I be surprised if it rains? No. But if I'm from a part of the world which is a desert area, like here in Saudi Arabia, how would I feel when rain comes?
You're excited.
Yeah. Simple.
Yeah.
So
people from different climate areas are used to seeing spring flowers and may not expect much life in the desert.
Yeah. So they don't know anything about the desert, because when I say desert, what are you going to think?
sand.
Yeah, that's it.
Mhm.
All right. Yeah. What do you want to say?
I was going to say, it says spring flowers. I think she relates, I was reading the story, and I think she relates to
The eastern
area of
part
Boston,
of
America.
America.
New England
New
flowers,
England, yeah, because everybody in America, they even study this area in geography.
Oh,
So it's in the curriculum, in the national curriculum. So everybody is familiar what New England is like. You see, so the eastern part in America is not desert. It's kind of like an area which has forests, and it has it receives plenty of rains all year round. All right. So let's move on to question number 4.
King Solver says people who live in the desert spend a lot of time predicting what plants will bloom in the spring. Why is it difficult for desert dwellers to prognosticate the arrival of spring foliage?
Yeah, as I told you before, there are a lot of factors that interfere with the growing of plants, right? Any idea what these factors are?
Rain.
Rain, very good. This is a good one. Yeah.
And temperature.
Temperature, the amount of sun they receive, and things like that. Okay, so this is actually
too many factors, such as temperature, rainfall, affect what plants will bloom.
Yeah, right. So here we're talking about an idiom. Any idea what an idiom is, actually?
It's a set of words that describe something that don't, like, for example, a piece of cake.
Yeah, that's a piece of cake.
That means it's easy.
Yeah, so the meaning of the whole phrase is different from
actual,
or the agreed meaning, of course, within a community, because it's a cultural thing. Because you might have an idiom in Arabia which is different from in the West, for example, or in Australia, or in the Western culture. Like I said, it's a piece of cake. If we look at the word piece and the word cake, the difference of it means easy. So easy has nothing to do with piece, and it has nothing to do with cake. So an idiom is an expression whose accepted meaning in a community or in a culture, of course, is different from its literal meaning or its dictionary, the literal meaning, the dictionary meaning of each single word. So this question asks the student, Anthony, to cite examples of idioms from the text and try to guess their meanings. You already guessed it, Anthony. When do you remember the word which is borrowed from
boxing?
Boxing. What was it?
Knocked out.
Yeah. What does it mean?
To deliver
a punch. This is but this is boxing. How about in this context here? If you get knocked out when you see something
surprise.
Yes, very good, excellent.
One example of the author's use of idioms is knocked out in line 21, which means overwhelmed.
Yeah, or surprised. Yeah. Question 6.
At the beginning of the story, King Solver calls the flowering of the desert a miracle. Cite other examples of non-scientific reasons for the desert flowering. How do these references help shape King Solver's central idea?
So she was talking about, do you remember when we talked about God planted them, and they are these plants are at the behest of a higher power, which is also a reference to God. You see what I mean? So it shows us that this thing is too hard to explain, even for people, for botanists. You see what I mean? So, and this also shows us the extent of rarity, the extent of how do you say it?
Unfrequent?
Yes, very good. The extent of and even the abundance of flowers. Yeah. So there is no reason. Natural phenomenon. Yeah. Very good. So God planted them in line 13 and some higher power in line 18. These help shape the central idea. What's central idea? In the sense that the flowering of the desert seems mysterious, okay, because it's highly unpredictable. We scientists cannot explain that, all right? In some ways, unexplainable, all right? Unpredictable and unexplainable. Okay, question 7.
What is the purpose of the following paragraph and the number of comparisons that the author has established in it?
Mhm.
Purpose of the following paragraph.
Mhm. This paragraph here, we are talking about. Okay, the purpose of it.
Something like that. Or the fall color in England, New England. All winter, the experts take measurements and make forecasts. This year, they predicted gold, but it's already gone platinum. In a spot where you'd expect 100 flowers, we've got 1,000. More kinds than anybody alive has ever seen at once.
So, what do you think the author is trying to do here, Anthony?
I think she's trying to point out that it's hard to grasp how amazing it is for her. I think she's trying to show her excitement.
Yeah, in a way that we can relate to, in a way that's accessible to us. Do you remember when we talked about that? She's trying to reach a wider group of audience here, especially the non-scientific people. So even in our everyday life, when there's something which is difficult for me to explain, I'm going to use comparisons. You see what I mean? I'm going to use like, and I'm going to use, oh, you like this? You know how I felt? I felt like I was punched by somebody in my face. You see, why am I doing this comparison? To express how much I felt, because it's hard for me to explain the feeling.
Yes.
You see what I mean? So in our everyday life, we always use this kind of comparison so that my listener or my audience can relate to and have an idea about what it is like. You see? So can you read the answers for us? So these are
the author keeps offering up ways to the readers to relate to the experience.
Yeah, this is a key word here. So it's ways to relate to the experience, something that they can understand.
In the first sentence, the author compares the unusual blooming of the desert to another event,
which is
the fall color in New England.
And when she uses this comparison, she assumed that almost everybody in America know what New England is like, right?
So they know that there's lots of fall color, lots of color during the fall season.
Yeah.
Another reference is used here, but this time from the music industry.
Yeah.
I.e., they predicted gold, but it's already gone platinum. That is a comparison to the way the music industry measures its sales. Gold is a lot, but platinum is way more.
And of course, most people, because actually we don't know much about music here around this area, but I assume that almost everybody in the West, especially in America, understand what music is, and everybody is into music and likes music. You see what I mean? So this is an example which they can use to relate to what happened in the area, in Arizona.
The last two sentences of the paragraph also talk about the sheer number of flowers that is much more than expected.
Yeah, it's 10 times. Can you believe it?
In a spot where you would expect 100 flowers, we've got 1,000.
So 1,000 in terms of math is 10 times 100. So they expected 100, and they were like, oh, if only we can get 100 of something, of course. But instead they got 1,000. How would this feel? If you expect something and you get 10 much more, 10 times more.
Yeah, you'd be shocked.
Yeah, very good. Surprise, yeah.
More kinds than anybody alive has ever seen at once.
Yeah. So now we've come to the last part, boys. Of course, I leave this to you. You can use a dictionary to find the meaning of these words. Of course, you're not going to have to write the denotation, only write the meaning. Write the meaning of this word. That's all the time we have today, Anthony. So we're going to have to leave it here. Would you like to say anything, Anthony?
Thanks, guys. I'm going to be working together, and next lesson I will be working alongside Omar and preparing some more questions for you and have more readings for you. So really nice to have a conversation today, and have a good day.